So yeah, you get
There
the
must
message.
be some tension there. They're all men. They're all soldiers.
Yeah.
One of them has the hots for one of them.
I know. As soon as the glitter happens, one of them's like,
statistically.
I've been waiting for this moment my entire life.
And he's like, dude, just let go, right?
The rest of the guards are
We're here.
horrified.
Yeah.
Just
and one
let
of
it
them's
happen.
covered
Yeah,
in glitter,
they're all
he's
just like standing there, and one of them's dancing.
He's like,
I know.
oh no, what's come over me?
I know. Today's featured DJ is Zed! Like,
Okay, so yeah, you Percival goes.
Oh god.
You hear the message through the familiars. Freya's in your pocket. Gears is still out around the city.
that's fair.
We haven't
Always.
seen him in months.
No, it's been like a couple of days.
Yeah, whatever.
Is he
Let me tell you.
humping like every owl in
Let
the
me tell you.
tri-state area?
I have never been so happy for a psychic
No,
familiar.
he's hitting up like
that
the whorehouses,
it's
like actually.
I'm not exactly a player. Gears gets so much action. Like, I feel like I just have free porn every night.
He gets
Yeah,
so
so
much
there's like an
tail.
emotional connection, right? So is he just feeling like pleasure just
There's
throughout
not.
the night?
There's not.
Sometimes there is.
Oh, of course there is.
Sometimes there is.
It's owl sex. How are you deriving pleasure from owl sex?
Owls
It's-
deriving pleasure from the owl
Alright.
sex.
The
You're saying it's
Abdullah
transferred through the link.
Oblongata doesn't care. I'm not like looking at owl sex. I'm simply feeling
The
emotion from the
emotion.
brainstem.
Yeah.
And that is the same all across the civilized world.
Anyway, so
I'm not saying I'm always tapped in, but sometimes, like, I'm a kid.
It's a late night, you're trying to go to sleep. it's
Orgasms.
hard, so
Yeah.
you just kind of go, what's my owl doing?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I wonder
Thumbs
how
up.
it is. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't even want to go to the magical realm. It just got there anyway. All right. So you guys head upstairs.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So you guys head upstairs, open and close the door to your room behind you, and you see the Vesperilal contact, Mercutio and Datho and Frederick all standing around. And they go, "Welcome, gentlemen. All right, well, with Daedriel and Jovan's successful acquiring of the mushrooms," this is Frederick talking, "we can move on to the second phase of our plan. Getting Lalos's 2 vibrant gems."
Wait, are these literally the 2 that are floating around his head?
No.
Oh, okay.
Are they his only 2 vibrant gems?
No, they're actually known as Amber Reservoirs. That's their official name, anyway. He stores them somewhere within his house, his grand manse up near Paradigm Row. When you're invited to the ball, it'll be the perfect distraction, as most of Lalos's guards and servants will be busy either serving that evening or having the night off, so the manse can keep up appearances. Some key places may still be guarded, like the upper levels, and of course his wife, Eldra, will be in attendance, but the party will make sure that security is at minimal. Is a little bit minimal than it would normally be.
Okay.
You say that like you know something about his relationship with Eldra.
And Frederick gives Datho an odd look, and he goes, "What exactly do you mean by that?"
Oh, you sort of had that weird throat clearing thing that you do whenever you're kind of saying something that isn't 100% true, just when you said the word wife.
And Frederick looks back at Datho and he goes, "According to our intelligence, they are officially married, so, I mean..."
That's not what I'm asking.
Is
and
that
you
all
know
you
it.
know?
What do you know?
I know nothing.
Is she having an affair?
No.
Is she on the market?
Not by our estimations.
I saw her at
Don't you-
Katros's house.
Yeah.
Don't you touch my
Katros
sister.
is pretty hot.
Yeah. And he's got fabrics.
Anyway,
Oh,
we do have a couple of men
so
on the
bronzed.
inside. Servants who we've paid and greased their palms, tipped them off, and they've given us a fairly accurate, and he pulls out a little tiny scroll, floor plan.
Ooh.
And he sets it out in front of you.
Look at this man's.
As you can see, the manse is quite grand. Now, we have here the ground floor, including the entranceway into the foyer, the ballroom, where, of course, most of the party will be taking place, the observatory, an odd, peculiar room which Lalos only reserves for his highest-ranking guests. Merek, of course, will be on that list, and a strange room back here which we do not know the location of because no servants are ever allowed in. In fact, from what we hear, only Lalos himself is allowed inside that room. That is our first guess as to where his grand treasure hoard may be. The other options, of course, are that it's in one of the 2 display rooms, the gym room or the art room, off to the left of the grand ballroom. But that would be a little bit too easy. Perhaps he's doing a hiding in plain sight. We can't be sure. The other option is that he's hidden it somewhere else around the ground floor, but who can say? Then we can come to the upstairs. We do have a treasury where he keeps most of his gold, gems, and other grand magical artifacts. At least that's what we hear. Surprisingly, the treasury is not guarded or shut down under lock and key, which is why we're a little bit hesitant to suspect that the amber reservoirs would be stored there. But, hey, whatever. It's worth a shot. Other than that, we have, of course, the main bedroom, his bath, and the sitting room. These are all places the treasury, this mysterious room, and the 2 display rooms are all places we assume the amber reservoirs to be contained in.
Am I correct to assess that his bath is one of the largest rooms in the entire home?
Yes.
Good lord, what is up with this Lalos guy?
He actually pumps in and purifies water from the canal and heats it by some unknown mechanical means. The entire thing is like a wide open, he calls it a spa, but it's a weird word.
This is like the tropical habitat at the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. Is like the entire thing is a fictitious like
Question.
rainforest or something like that. Look at this.
Just,
Sounds pretty great.
Just a random thought.
Mhm.
So this house is pretty big, right?
Yes.
Is it theoretically possible, given enough time, enough materials, to make a large magic circle around the whole entirety of the manor?
Ooh, you get dismissed all of that.
Spell burn 20 points and dismiss the entire manor.
Are you asking me as a DM?
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking at the map.
Yeah.
And glancing at the map, you realize that won't be possible because the canal runs down this side, and thus would cut off the ability to create an entire encircle.
Interesting. So water cuts off the ability to make a magic circle.
Well,
Unless...
I mean, you can't inscribe it on the ground if
Yeah.
there's no like
Alright,
flat ground to
alright.
inscribe it upon,
Interesting.
right?
I like how you've
Interesting.
given them a hammer, now everything is a nail. It's like, what's your solution? We'll dismiss it into the other world.
I'm just
What?
thinking. I'm just thinking out.
I mean, if you
well,
could just
okay.
kill
I'm
paradigms.
not, I'm not thinking about doing that. I'm just curious because in my head, I imagine that sort of the beginning to Full Metal Alchemist where he makes the
Yep.
whole large circle.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm just thinking.
there may
about
also be limitations. to
That
how
was
much
what I
spell-
said at the beginning about those towers around Lear. I always believed that Lear was
Yeah,
entirely
yeah,
a summoning
we talked
circle.
about
There
Is
may
that
also
possible?
be limitations
Yeah,
to how
right.
much that spell can dismiss.
It's true.
In fact, it can only be confined to large creatures. Is the biggest it could do.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why I don't ask Merek to do the laundry anymore. It's like, where are my socks?
We'll just
Gone.
dismiss it.
Took
Where-
care of
where
that
any
problem
socks?
for a couple days.
It's like, where's
They'll
the
come-
trash gone?
They'll come back.
He's a very utilitarian maid.
Yeah. It's like,
So Frederick continues. As far as points of egress into the manse, we have a couple of options. And he looks towards Mercutio, and Mercutio nods and goes, "Yes, well, this is the interesting thing. So we could, of course, enter in through the front door. Apparently, Merek's received an invitation. Perhaps we could fabricate one for Jovan or for Daedriel."
Oh, I have an invitation.
And
he's got a date.
they all stop and look at you and they go, "What?"
I may have saved Zavalus's life mere hours ago.
And they glance back and forth at each other, and Datho goes, "Perhaps you should tell us what transpired."
He was troubled.
They peer curiously at you, and Mercutio looks back and forth between Datho and
It was
Frederick.
very complicated. I can tell you later.
Try to explain. And Mercutio's
You
looking
don't
at you.
don't want to continue your.
It's for another time.
We have all night. I'm sure this won't take that long.
Sit back and enjoy. All right.
I like the story. I like Jovan, but I'm super jealous that I don't have an invitation to the ball and they both do. It's like so unfair.
So it turns out we had.
I'm the one who owns this bar.
You're
Jovan
also a
could
student.
It
probably
turns out that
leverage a
we
+1.
had an evil spirit haunting our
I could bring
our-
a little +1
our
out
bar
that I
here.
would Bring.
and it managed to possess Zavalas.
Datho raises his eyebrows a bit and glances over at Dadriel.
Virgis had been coming
Oh,
by
did he?
to inspect a door located here, a magical door, and what might lay behind it.
Yes, I told you he was coming ahead of schedule.
Virgis,
he won't be going anywhere anymore.
Virgis managed to unlock the door and entered. We had not heard anything from him for some time, and so alerted the guards in the city, and Zavalas showed up.
Ah, so you drew the guards to the place. All right.
Well,
I suppose
I mean,
that was the best idea.
We knew not what happened to Virgis.
What were we supposed to do?
We were worried.
We
for
have
him.
to we just say, oh yeah,
Right.
Virgis disappeared. We just let him stay.
Zavalas was very troubled and burst through the door's magical seal, at least momentarily, and dove in himself. He emerged sometime later, possessed by a dark spirit. And
Alright.
I managed to banish it.
And through this, you managed to acquire an invitation from Zavalas.
Well, he was thankful that I had saved him from such fate.
So Mercutio strokes his chin and goes, "That's curious, because it's technically not Zavalas' right to give out an invitation."
He's a paradigm. I mean,
Yes.
I assume he
Is there
Has a
set-
+1.
Is there,
he
is there a set number of paradigms? Like, does there always have to be 5?
There's
6.
6.
Does there always have to be 6?
Apparently,
Ooh.
yes.
There are 2 openings.
So,
I'm not gonna be
I want to be a paradigm.
Mercutio-
Metro.
Is it when you vanquish the paradigm, you become the next one?
Oh.
That would be horrible.
It's not tripos. So Mercutio strokes his chin a bit and glances back at you and goes, "It's just odd. It puts me... It gives me unease. Because that means that Zavalas was either given permission beforehand to invite you, or to invite other people, or he just simply trounced Lalos' authority, which I suppose is possible.
I choose to believe that he was so moved by my courage and by Netro's strength that he, forgot his bounds, as dictated by.
Are you saying
By
that a
society.
paradigm doesn't even have a +1 and can't invite a
I mean,
guest?
yeah,
of
it
their
does.
own?
It does seem odd to
That
me that
seems.
The question is whether or not, and this is Mercutio talking, the question is whether or not Zavalas was actually invited. And if he was invited,
why would a paradigm not invite all the paradigms?
Yeah, is that unusual?
Vergis was not invited to the party. Neither was Onassis. The relationships among the paradigms
So you,
aren't
But-
as solid.
but was Zavalos invited?
We don't know. We haven't gotten a hold of the guest list. But
Well, if he hadn't already acquired such permission to invite his own guests, I assume he would have gone to Lalos and, double checked and that I was allowed to come.
I mean, it makes sense Vergis wouldn't be invited, because I wouldn't invite Vergis to anything. He's not the party type.
it's just
But-
And Lalos, hearing that I had saved Zavalos' life, would
But
no
of
doubt
course.
approve of such invitation.
it's just interesting that, given your recent meeting with Katros, they are continuing to take an interest in you. That's all I'm saying.
Paradigms can't get enough of me. What can I say?
I'm not a street urchin anymore. I own a bar. Look at this lovely outfit.
You own a haunted bar.
No respect. I get no respect.
Do you want my gauntlet?
I don't need your charity.
No, the wind gauntlet. the one that shoots wind. The one that shoots force power.
That rips your hand off if you misuse it.
Only if you roll a crit fail.
Have you met me? As I'll lose my arm in like the first time.
Yeah, you
Bam!
can't road jump from beetle to beetle.
Yes.
Your shoes don't have beetle grip.
So
I know.
let me understand. Your plan is to get inside.
Hold on one second.
By the way, all of this is genuinely news to us. Like it just doesn't occur to us that the paradigms are like so disconnected.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's not the impression I give off.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
All right, hold on. Okay.
So let me understand. Your grand plan was for us to go to there as the guests of honor, sneak around his manor, find 2 gems which are amber, and then
We haven't
walk
heard-
out?
We haven't even heard a description of what they might look like.
Our
How are
plan
we going
was
to know what these gems are? How are we going to get into the gems? What sort of distraction could we do?
That was my first question.
I
actually.
assume being invited to the party is a good thing.
we
I'll
know
have a reason to be there.
that's true. It is
Why-
good
why
for
argue
our
the
for
point?
our purposes.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the implications. But anyway,
I mean, for that matter, have you heard anything more about what Katros wants me to dispel?
no, nothing at all. And Datho and Frederick glance at each
Something
other.
important.
So
We will no doubt have our weapons taken from us before we enter the party, yes?
perhaps yes. One would assume with
I'll make
basic
this-
decorum that you wouldn't bring them.
That will make this very difficult.
But the canal,
I can't conceal a claymore.
Yeah.
Except in my pants.
as far as
It's like, is that your claymore, or are you just happy to see us?
Not the claymore! It's like dragging on the ground, like down my pant leg.
It's like, no wonder Jovan is so popular
Okay,
amongst all the
okay,
paradigms.
I'm sorry.
so Mercutio continues and he goes, as far as egresses are concerned,
Yes.
our plan was to use the ball as a distraction to search for the gems and acquire them. Because you're going to be going to the party and be a guest of honor, you'll no doubt have a lot of attention on you.
And I suppose I will too.
I don't want attention.
Perhaps.
This is perfect.
Perhaps
Yes.
I could
Precisely.
attempt to take the attention from him and all onto myself.
Yes, or perhaps you can attempt to get information out of Lalos after he's had a few when the night goes by. Maybe even you can excuse yourself for a moment, get lost on the way to the washroom, and try to find out where the gems are. Then Daedriel and I, and of course two other Vesperillo agents, will enter the house and steal the gem. We only need a means of communication between us, and apparently they glance at each other. That's taken care of, and he looks down at both of the keepers, and the keepers nod and goes, "We have ways of communicating."
Yes. It'll be taken care of.
Caw-caw! Caw-caw!
Double meaning.
Yeah, I know. That's like,
So Mercutio continues and he goes, now as far as egress is concerned, we have a couple of different options. As I was saying, we could go in disguise and walk right in the front door. Not exactly the safest option, but also an unexpected one.
You could break through the window and dive into the canal.
You could do that. There are two entrances that come off the canal, right here, that lead up from the canal going to steps. One goes to the food storage, so Lalos' kitchens can receive food and drink easier. The other connects into a kind of offshoot banquet hall, or a resting area. Apparently it was so guests could be funneled in through the door and then back out through the canal, or vice versa. Traffic flow, you know. Either one of those would be good for egress, but we need disguises for the foyer and this entrance. The back door back here through the food storage could have us dressing up as cooks, perhaps? I'm not sure. The other option is we just go in the old-fashioned way, scale up the East Tower's side under the cover of darkness, and then use our knowledge of the secret door to enter in on the first floor.
where does this door go?
That would lead to this
Open
door in the
open
foyer.
space.
Wait, you mean the second door?
So this
the second
door this door goes right here.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
enter in on the second
Yeah,
floor.
it's like it kind of goes up like that.
Yeah. So the way this is built is that the bath is over the food store.
This is over the ballroom.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
this. Yeah, this is over the ballroom.
So the is this a grand staircase?
No, so there is one more peculiar
I'm
thing about
confused.
Lalos' house. The grand ballroom itself has a wall here, just a plain old wall that can apparently, through some sort of mechanism, be meant to move backwards to open up the ballroom to more space.
Oh, okay, it's like an air wall.
Yes.
So, sure.
Whatever is behind that, we don't know, but it can't be anything substantial because it would get crushed as the wall moves back.
And we've
Yeah.
seen it move for various like
It might
larger
be-
affairs and stuff like
Correct.
that. Like when they have a band and they put up a stage.
Yes, so probably nothing to
But
worry
this room actually has no egress.
And
it's
you're
just
sure
wall.
that
as
isn't-
far as we know.
You're sure that it's mechanical and not magical?
Well,
Like it's not a warping of space. It's a mechanical movement. of the
Datho and
wall?
Frederick look back to each other and they go.
Like how could we know that there is even anything back there? What if
Datho and Frederick look next to each other and go, "We aren't aware of the paradigms having that sort of ability, except for Katros, but that would require some sort of mirror."
it appeared that Vergis had something like that ability?
And they peer at you. What do you mean?
Well, he did dismiss that, or he did attempt to send that monster that was summoned off the coast.
Yes, but that
using an apparently magical method.
as you'll remember, that was a failure.
It didn't work, but it sure seemed magical.
Yeah.
He failed at dismiss.
Datho and Frederick look at you and goes, "Why are you laughing?"
Continue.
Because Merek's apparently 1 for 1 and is like hanging on to his 100%
Merek's-
success rate.
Merek's 1 for 2.
Frederick and Datho give you all odd looks.
Ah. Okay.
Are the
Curious.
keepers not aware of like they don't have people watching the Dullahan that saw this happening?
They might not know. They might not realize. If
It's
they
a game
I can't
left.
believe we just got away with this.
I know,
we
it's
so
like-
didn't deserve it.
I feel like we should just keep trying to disappear more paradigms now until we can get rid of all of them. I feel.
So how frustrating was it that I just dismissed a paradigm?
No, that was fine.
That was fine. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing you guys have ever done in this story is frustrating.
Really?
No,
Okay.
it's all fine.
I guess it's all moved the story forward in a
Yeah,
way.
I mean, and it's not like it's not like I'm sitting down with the game and going, "You better go this way."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I suppose.
You would be the angriest GM in the country if that was how you GM this game.
Right.
Because we are, if anything, is like let's do this crazy thing that has nothing to do
I
with
hope
reality.
they just go into the dungeon and
Let's
complete
lick
it and
the
walk
dragon
out.
amulet. What? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like nope. Someone decided to give their soul to the dragon demon instead. Now they're about to bring the destruction of the planet.
Okay. So they go. So Mercutio scratches his head a bit and goes, "So, what do you think?" And he looks at Daedriel, and he goes, "What's the best course of action here?"
Every good heist finishes with a dive into the canal.
So he smiles a bit, and you get the sense that Mercutio is testing you here.
Okay, I want a detailed description of what these gems look like, because you haven't given us that.
Yes. Because as
oh,
you
we
remember,
know
the
them
Maltese Falcon was neither Maltese nor Falcon.
Who's
Dathra
going to
goes,
be grabbing it? Am I just serving as a distraction?
"Perhaps."
You are both serving as distractions now. This is perfect.
The problem here is that we don't have enough intelligence. We don't know exactly where the gems are contained. We'll have to
It's a
search.
rabbit gap.
We'll have to search while we're on site. As far as for what the gem looks like, and Datho reaches into his coat and pulls out a little scroll and unrolls it, and you can see that it's a beautiful drawing of a singular orb-like gem that seems to be completely spherical. Like there's no nicks or cleavage or anything on it.
That's fine.
It's a geological term.
I was just going to go past it.
Yeah.
I didn't say that
So
you had
it's
to
not
You
cut
stopped.
like it's not like cut in.
No,
Completely
it's a complete,
sphere?
almost, it's like a pearl.
Okay, cool.
And so Datha goes, "Remember, we need 2, which Lalo should have in his possession, but we need 2.
What color is the drawing? Is it like
it's
amber
black,
color?
No, it's just black and white. But you'd assume from the name, and they tell you that it's amber.
And they're perfect spheres,
Mhm.
so there's not like dinosaur DNA in there or something like that.
Invisible dinosaur DNA.
Yeah, because if they're bringing back dinosaurs, I'm gonna nix this.
They're bringing
right
back
now.
invisible dinosaurs.
I know.
This is terrifying. Okay,